Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Terry Ryan. This is my channel dedicated to talking about things that we go through in life. Just wanted to come on today, mainly due to this isolation with the COVID-19 that we're going through, and I just had a bit of a concern about people being isolated with their violent partners, and with the amount that how it's going to affect the domestic violence in violent and aggressive relationships. And as you know, I wrote the book, which is why I started the channel. This is I Survived Domestic Violence and Being Stalked by Terry Ryan. Anyway, one of the topics, I've been going through things topic by topic, and I just wanted to express also with these laws how it is going to affect people going through the domestic violence, only due to the fact that they're feeling even more pressured from the government and the police now to be more isolated. And in actual fact, for the narcissist person who treats their victim like this would be like good days. That the police and the government are making it more easier for them to be able to control their victim. And what I wanted to express today was a couple of things. One is the fact that the government and the police have a responsibility to protect those who are being abused. So therefore, if you are in this situation where you're at home and you're feeling even more claustrophobic and more pressured and more controlled than usual because of this COVID-19 outbreak, that you are in your rights to go to the police, or to ring somebody and ask for help. Don't sit there and just take it. Don't be in your house and allow yourself to be bashed up or assaulted in any way, because, as I say, even though the police are doing these checks with the isolation, going around and making sure people are staying off the streets and being in self-isolation, they still have an obligation to look after those who are in abusive situations and domestic violence situations. And because of these laws, this is probably going to become much more of a problem now than what it was before, because of the fact that the government and also the police are containing people the way they are. The other topic I wanted to talk about today, just because of this COVID-19 and the isolation that we are all undergoing at present, is about taking for granted of things. And when I went through the domestic violence myself, I realised how I had been taken for granted by my abuser. And even though that was quite a good lesson at the time to learn, it also helped me throughout my life when I came out of that situation and I went into other relationships. And it's one of the factors about learning how to love yourself and not allowing others to take you for granted. And during this time, we are learning quite a lesson on taking things for granted. One, taking things for granted that we had while we were back in our normal life of going out to work or going to the restaurants and going here and there and not being restricted in any way, going travelling. And we tended to probably take that for granted, that those things were there and we just had them. And after being locked up and isolated, we realise that now we can appreciate what we had before. And that is taking things for granted in your life, but also I wanted to stress upon people taking you for granted too. There are many people who come into your life and they will take you for granted and just expect you to do things. If you're in like a relationship like that where they just expect you to run around after them and to do everything for them so that they don't have to take responsibility for their own actions and their own responsibility for themselves. This is another great thing in itself to realise that everybody is responsible for themselves. And if you're finding yourself in a situation where you feel like you are being taken for granted, there are things that you can do about it. One thing is you stop doing all those things that you are being taken for granted for, because the only way a person sometimes can see and understand things is if things are taken away from them. If all of a sudden what they always expected is taken away, this is the way people will learn to not take things for granted and to appreciate what they've had and appreciate you or appreciate the situation around them. So that was mainly the main thing that I was concerned about today was the domestic violence situation and how it's probably quite escalated right now at the time. And if you know of anybody who is in a situation with an aggressive partner, please give them a call and please keep in contact with them. And if you feel that perhaps things are wrong, then please call the police and get them to do a welfare checkup on them, because it's right now when the domestic violence situation is probably going to go rife due to isolation and mental health issues. So please keep an eye on all your friends and family and anybody that you may know going through a situation like this, and be open to listen to them at all times. Also, if anybody would like to buy a copy of my book, since you're doing nothing at the moment, you're isolated at home, I may as well take advantage of advertising my book, which is I Survived Domestic Violence and Being Stalked. And you can get this from my website. My website is terryryan.com.au. You can go there, there's a tool, you can buy it that way. You can get it on Amazon. It's selling in America, Mexico and Canada and Singapore. Also, you can call me or get onto my Facebook page, which is Terry Ryan Author. If you go there, on there, send me a message. And if you're living locally in Australia, I can send you a copy of my book for an extra $3.45, and I'll post that directly out to you. Until then, please have a great Easter. Here in Australia, it's Good Friday today, and I think everybody's in the same situation. Nobody's really got any plans to go anywhere or do anything with the isolation, but please make the most of your time. Even if you can't go anywhere, there are other things you can do. Either go into your garden, do some gardening, take the dog for a walk, make sure that you take every opportunity to go out and exercise if you can go for a walk or take the dog for a walk, and appreciate nature and everything around you at the same time. It's these things that keep you motivated and keep, the happy juices flowing through you. Also, you could do things in the house. Now's a great time to declutter. Decluttering is a very cleansing and fulfilling way to make yourself feel better about yourself and about your surroundings. There's nothing worse than having a cluttered up house. And I find each time I go through and do a decluttering or a cleaning, it just builds me up, and it makes me feel a little bit better about myself and about my surroundings. You could do that, or you could let your creative juices flow by doing some music if you're a music player, or artwork, or if you're good at sewing, or there's a multitude of things that you can do. So please be creative in your thinking and entertain yourself, and make sure that you don't get to the point where you're feeling depressed or bored, because there's always light at the end of the tunnel. And the thing is, before we know it, this will all be over. And as it is, like in Australia, the curve is flattening, and things are getting better, and before we know it, we'll be on the other side and we'll be back to normal again. And just keep that in mind, and don't let, the doom and gloom of everything get to you. And if you need to talk to somebody, give them a call, pick up the phone, or send them a message or something, because there's always somebody else there going through the same sort of thing, and we're all in the same boat going through this. So so keep your spirits high and do what you can to help yourself, and we'll all get through this, and we'll all be happier, and the world will be a brighter place on the other side. And until then, please have as good an Easter as you can, and I'll look forward to seeing you all again soon. Okay, bye for now.